Windsurf FG board. Whew. This board is, I'm loving it. First thing you notice with this board when you get it, it has such long boxes. I've always been kind of the thought, you know, push the board or the mast as far forward in those boxes as possible, mostly because it reduces the swing weight, makes it feel a little more lively, really light taps the pump, feels great. But I haven't got to the top front of these boxes yet, but I'm really keen to try it out. The other thing with having such long boxes is it gives you a lot of freedom to play around with that mast position. If you're running a shorter fuse, you may find it feels a little bit twitchy, a bit kind of pitch sensitive. Moving that mast back, pushing that, keeping that weight up the front, smooths a lot of that out. You still keep the benefit of having that short fuse for a tighter turning radius. So yeah, having more options is just better to dial in your setup. The other thing, well, first wave on this that I noticed, catching a wave on this was how stiff and solid this board is. It wasn't something I'd ever considered in a board before, but it makes it so responsive. Every bit of energy that I put down into the pump, you get it back. It's the same with your turns. As soon as you lean it over, the foil just follows. It just feels like a much more connected feel when I'm riding with the foil. It's awesome. Now the other thing that I've probably struggled with a little bit on the SKT boards is just that I didn't find the angle was quite right. So when I'm cruising or just gliding on a wave, I basically want the board to be level with the surface of the water. So what I mean by that is when I touch down, I want the board to be flat. It has the most amount of surface area in contact with the surface, or the water surface. And that just means touchdowns, if you got your nose down, I find the touchdowns can be really abrupt and sudden. But this just is perfect, it's smooth. If I touch down just a little, it's kind of between my feet, like that, and it just pops back up. It feels so good. The other thing, which may not be the most important thing, but the rails on this are really easy to hold. They're really thin, got a nice shape, fits in your palm well, but just for duck diving, it's so easy to hold on to. You're never gonna lose the board, which I'd never thought about it. But just something I know, even with grab rail calves, it just makes it so easy to hold on and pull around through your calf. It feels great. The last thing that I've heard people talk about with this board is basically the concave, saying it has a lot of concave. Now, it does, but the interesting thing that I didn't even know, that I hadn't heard about, is that the center of the board, through the center, is quite flat. So unlike other boards where it's more of a banana shape, this thing's, yeah, it's got a really good, it's kind of like a skateboard. It's got a flat section through the center, and turns out, again without me knowing, it feels really good. So when some of the boards that are just a consistent shape, your foot's always flexed, and I didn't particularly like that on my front foot, where I offset it, bring it back towards the hillside rail. It meant that my heel was kind of sticking up higher, and I didn't love that feeling. But on my back foot, I did. I loved having the toe flexed up. And so with this board, I can keep my front foot in the middle of the board, keep it flat, then my back foot, have it over on the rail, flexed up. And it's just perfect balance of kind of best of both worlds, you know? Whew. So far, loving this board. It's lightweight, has so many configurations, whether it's foot strap placements, mast position. You can really dial in your setup with this. It has, especially with those longer boxes, so much freedom to play with and explore new setups. And I'm loving it. I'm learning new stuff with it every day and can't wait to try it out some more.